Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you the final Baze AI recap of 2022 from last weekend's event at UFC Vegas 66, which, as I've just alluded to, was the final UFC event of the year. Now, from a straight pick prediction accuracy from Baze AI, it hit 54%, which is lower than what we normally like. However, as we always say, there is variance in this sport, and more often than not, Baze AI is smashing not only the straight pick prediction accuracies, but also the method of victory, and it gets quite a few of the rounds as well, week by week. So, we're always going to have the events that dip a little bit lower than what we like, but like I said, from a general perspective, Baze AI is absolutely killing it and has been crushing it this year since we launched it in February. So straight into talking around some of the fights and what Baze AI saw, we start with the value section. Now, this section of the podcast is normally the picks that Baze AI didn't get correct. However, the percentages that it's picking meant that it completely disagreed with the bookies and the line should have been much closer than it was, and that was proved within the fight. So the first one to talk about, we've got Cory, McKenna versus Cheyanne, Vlismas. So as I've just briefly mentioned, this was an incorrect pick from that straight pick prediction accuracy. However, if you are a gambler that does like to look at value, then this would have been perfect for you, because Baze AI had Cory McKenna to win at 49%. Now, at 49%, odds implied on that percentage is plus 104. So Baze AI is basically saying that the bookies should have had Cory McKenna at plus 104. However, you could have got McKenna at plus 160 to plus 170. A ton of value there. Like I said, I know that Baze AI ultimately did favour Vlismas very slightly, but again, Baze AI was saying that the bookies should have had the line a lot closer, and obviously Cory McKenna won, and won quite comfortably as well. Now, the other side to this as well, which is really interesting, is the decision. So the knockout, submission, decision. Cory McKenna's decision percentage was higher than the knockout and submission. So at 22%, Baze AI said that Cory McKenna, that was the percentage likelihood that she was going to win the fight via decision. Now, odds implied at 22% is plus 355, and if you'd have bet decision on the bookies, you would have only got plus 220, plus 260. So again, from a value perspective, there wasn't much value there. However, it still would have been a good plus money cash ticket should you have decided you wanted to be a little bit more risky, play that bigger line, look for the bigger returns. But what I do like about this is that Baze AI did not ignore knockout and submission, but it definitely favoured decision via McKenna. Didn't give McKenna as much of a chance to finish Cheyanne Vlismas via a knockout or via submission. So again, a good method of victory percentage there, in my opinion. Now, the next fight to talk about from the value side is Semelsberger versus Jake Matthews. Now, when I first saw the Baze AI predictions for this event, I thought this was very, very off. I thought that Jake Matthews was going to be a heavy percentage from Baze AI. I thought Semelsberger was going to be much lower than 46%. I thought we might see it at around 30, especially considering Jake Matthews' last fight and the fact that, he put a powerful display and performance on. I thought that might reflect in the straight pick prediction accuracy. And although Baze AI did favour Jake Matthews to win, it wasn't by a lot, but the line was very wide. So again, this is why we're mentioning these types of fights. So Semelsberger to win, Baze AI had at 46%. So 46% is almost a coin flip. Odds implied there is plus 117. So Baze AI is saying that it did favour Jake Matthews to win, but not by a lot. Semelsberger was still live, and at plus 117 is where the line should have been. However, if you had bet Semelsberger, you'd have got him at plus 250, plus 260. So there's a tremendous amount of value there compared to what Baze AI is saying that the line should be, compared to what you'd be getting at the bookies. So again, although it was an incorrect straight pick prediction from Baze AI for Jake Matthews, if you are the type of gambler that likes to play these value shots and tries to capitalize from what Baze AI is predicting to what the odds are at the bookies, what you'd get on a betting ticket, then absolutely this was a solid value shot. And you look at Semelsberger, he went out there, he dropped Jake Matthews in all 3 rounds, and when I say dropped, he dropped him hard. And listen, Baze AI was seeing something that personally I didn't see, because like I said, I thought the percentage prediction was going to be much wider than what it was from Baze AI. But once again, it proved that the odds were way too wide. Baze AI obviously, had the odds been way too wide through the percentage prediction. And again, another solid, accurate prediction from Base AI, in my opinion. And now we're moving into the solid winners section. Now, the one thing I will say before moving into talking about the two fights that I am going to cover is there isn't a lot of value. Again, if you're one of those value players, you're not going to find much when you're comparing the Base AI predictions to the odds, which again, I'll talk through in a minute. However, if you are one of those people that doesn't really play the long-term game for the value, you're more in there for the predictions, what Base AI is saying. So, one fighter might not have a ton of value, but you might want to just drop it in a 3-leg, 4-leg, 5-leg parlay just because you trust in what Base AI is saying in regards to picking a winner. Then this one and this type of style and these types of fights are for you. So into that first fight, Sergey Morozov versus Newson. Now, Base AI favoured Morozov to win at 56%, which he did. At 56%, the odds implied is minus 127. Now, obviously, if you'd have bet Morozov, you'd have got him anywhere between minus 235 and minus 350. So this is what I mean about there not being value if you are that long-term gambler or you are that value player. But if you're somebody that just wants to have a little bit of fun with Base AI and drop these in a parlay, then again, that would have been a winner for you. Now, also that's interesting as well is Base AI did like Morozov to win via decision. Base AI had the knockout, Sergey Morozov to win via knockout at around 23%. I think the submission was around 5%, but the decision was 27%. Now at 27%, odds implied, that's plus 270. You would have only got plus 130, plus 155 on the betting line. So again, like I've just said numerous times now, from a value perspective, not there. But if you are wanting those risky method of victory parlays and you're just wanting a little bit of fun, dropping a few dollars down, hoping to win a few $100, then, it's this type of method of victory that you'd be looking at and you'd be looking for when, you're scrolling through the predictions that Base AI is giving for the event. And again, the final fight that we're going to talk about in the solid winners section follows this exact pattern that we're talking about with the value and the fun gamblers. We've got Michal Oleksiejczuk versus Cody Brundage. Now, Base AI had Oleksiejczuk to win at 53%. Personally, I thought that was a little bit too low, but it was an accurate prediction from Base AI because he did win and he won comfortably as well. So at 53%, the odds implied is minus 113. On the betting line, you're looking at minus 225, minus 250. So, I feel like I'm repeating myself now, but again, from a value side, not there, but from a parlay perspective, it might be something that intrigues the fun gamblers. Now, Michal Oleksiejczuk to win inside the distance, so that's the knockout percentage and submission percentage added together, 38%. So Base AI is saying for Oleksiejczuk to win the fight, finish the fight, it's 38%. Odds implied on that is plus 163. On the bookies, you get minus 125, minus 140. So again, not too much value, but if you're wanting that extra little bit of risk, hoping to get a little bit more money, then you don't like the minus 225, but you want the minus 125 on the finish, then that's an option for you. Taking it one step further, Oleksiejczuk to win by a knockout TKO, 36%. So basically, Base AI is saying, look, if you want inside the distance, you get the submission as well, but the submission percentage is really low. Personally, if I was looking between the two, the difference between the 38% and the 36%, then when you're looking at the odds, which I'll talk about in a second, the knockout does seem the better option if you're looking for a method of victory. At 36%, the odds implied on that is plus 178. On the betting line, you're getting minus 105 to minus 135, so the odds are significantly better, and you're just not getting the submission. But Oleksiejczuk isn't a submission artist. He's a striker, ground and pound, so you're always going to have that fancying for Oleksiejczuk to win via a knockout rather than a submission, and you are getting a little bit of a better betting line by going for that knockout. Again, last time I'll mention it, from a value perspective, it's not there. But if you are wanting that fun, those fun parlays, you're not taking this too seriously, you just want to make the event a little bit more interesting for yourself and have a little bit of money on the line, hoping to get a bit of beer money or Christmas present money, then Oleksiejczuk by knockout TKO should have been where you were looking at there. And that's it for the recap for UFC Vegas 66, which, like I said, is the final event of 2022 for the UFC. Now, we launched Base AI in February of this year, I believe, after a beta testing period, and honestly, I'm super happy with Base AI. It's going to grow and get better in general anyway due to the algorithms that we use. the more data that we input into the algorithms and into the AI, the better the results are going to be. So from a long-term perspective, it is very sustainable. Obviously, we appreciate that the sport evolves, especially with the judges and what they're seeing, and, now seemingly scoring damage and not really putting too much into the wrestling and the grappling, and various different things change constantly with this sport. It's not something that's ever going to be stagnant. It's something that is going to be developed and be improving over time. And because of that, because it evolves, we will be improving the AI. We will come back to the AI, which we have done regularly this year. We've looked at it after there's been a couple of events that have been a little bit lower than we expected, and we've developed on it. We've made some slight tweaks based on current trends, based on what's happening in the world of MMA and how the fights are scoring and how the fights are being affected. And there's various different things. There's many different aspects and catalysts within the algorithms that, like I said, our AI team are on and they do look at regularly. So when there is an evolvement in the sport, a change, an improvement, a decline, whatever that might be within MMA, we are looking at that to make sure that the AI is firing on all cylinders. And every time we have made a tweak, it's come back much stronger afterwards. So it is something that you can trust that as a company at MMAPlay365 with an in-house AI team, that we can develop on the AI and make sure that, like I said, it's constantly firing on all cylinders. I'm super happy with the year that we've had. I think we've had some amazing results. We're looking at big things coming into 2023 as well. So make sure you keep an eye out. And as always, if you are interested in the AI, make sure you keep coming back to look at the predictions. We do have a free prediction every single week for every single UFC event. And obviously just keep coming back to these recap videos as well if, artificial intelligence and advanced technology is your type of gig. And aside from that, like I said, this is going to be the last podcast on the YouTube channel for 2022. So from all the team at MMA Play 365, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.